This is a look at the J02S wireless in-ear system from Xtuga. This is a budget-friendly stereo in-ear system. It has some cool features, and it's real easy to get set up and going. So we're gonna look at the physical unit, talk about all the features, measure the latency, then I'll talk about use cases where the J02S thrives and where it might not do so well. So this package comes with one transmitter, one receiver, a set of in-ear headphones, an 1/8" aux cable, and an 1/8" to 1/4" adapter. The transmitter and the receiver are in an all-plastic housing with built-in spring-loaded belt clips and a USB-C port for charging the internal batteries. Above that USB-C port on both the transmitter and the receiver is a mute button, so you can mute the signal from either one, and then a power button above that. Long press on the power button to turn it on and off, 2 quick presses on the power button to sync up the transmitter and receiver. Solid blue light means your units are connected, flashing light means no connection, yellow light on if it's muted, red light if it's charging, and a flashing red light to indicate low battery. On the transmitter, you also have a button to switch from mono to stereo, green light on if it's mono, no light if it's stereo. On the top of the transmitter is the input. This is where you connect whatever source you're trying to get to your ears. So that could be a signal from a guitar modeler, from a mixer, from a stereo, from an interface. Whatever source you want to get to your ears has to go through the input. On the receiver, you have an 1/8" output, and that's where most of the time you're going to connect your headphones or in-ears. But there's no reason why you can't plug that into a speaker, or a recording device, or a camera for streaming. Wherever you want the signal to output has to come from the receiver. And on top of the receiver, there's also a volume knob. These units transmit in the 2.4 gigahertz range, with a distance up to 50 meters apart, and a battery life up to 8 hours. And if you have multiple pairs of the J02S, you can use up to 6 at a time. You just have to pair them up one at a time. And as far as I can tell, you cannot do multiple receivers on one transmitter. One receiver to one transmitter only. As far as function, I had no problems getting this set up and running. Charged them up and synced them up with no issues, and I had wireless audio going pretty much right away. The sound quality is good, and the ability to switch between stereo and mono was pretty useful. Before we move on to use cases, we should talk about latency. When we talk about latency, we're talking about the time it takes for the signal to get from the transmitter to the receiver. If you use a cable, there is almost no measurable latency, so pretty much 0 latency. When you do digital wireless transition, there is always going to be some latency, and your tolerance for latency varies from person to person. I personally have no problem playing to 20 milliseconds of latency. Other people will say 2 milliseconds of latency is too much. So people's sensitivity to latency varies, and I measured the latency for this unit at about 15 milliseconds. That amount of latency will determine where you would use a unit like this. So this is a budget-friendly option for stereo wireless in-ears. If you're expecting this to be a worldwide tour-grade piece of equipment, you would be a little off. There's no reason why you can't take these around the world, no reason why you can't use these on stage or at church, but I do think the J02S set thrives at home. For practice or casual listening, I think that's where this is best suited. Plastic housing is not as sturdy as an all-metal housing. Operating in the 2.4 gigahertz range leaves it a bit susceptible to dropouts and interference, especially in large crowds. A lot of other phones and wireless devices operate in the 2.4 gigahertz range. There's a bunch of Wi-Fi in the 2.4 gigahertz range, so that range is a bit more crowded than, say, the 5 gigahertz range, or transmitting over UHF, so 2.4 is a little less reliable. But again, this is supposed to be a budget-friendly option, so if you're expecting to get this and take it to like a stadium show and expect it to work flawlessly, you'd be a little off. So I think for at-home use, this is great. Small stages, small churches, this would work, but anything above that, I would look at a different option. So that is a look at the J02S wireless in-ear monitor system from Xtuga. It's a cool entry-level system, great for personal use. It comes with in-ears. If you're looking for stereo wireless for an in-home use, or you just want to try out stereo wireless before you invest thousands of dollars into tour-grade gear, this might be a good option for you.